Hey plant lovers! If you've ever wondered what to do with those leftover coffee grounds instead of tossing them in the trash, you're in luck, because today we're diving into 20 amazing plants that actually thrive when you sprinkle a little Java magic in their soil. From lush ferns to vibrant flowering beauties, these green buddies don't just tolerate coffee, they love it. Stick around, and I'll show you which plants perk up with coffee, how to use it safely, and a few fun surprises you might not expect. So grab your morning cup, and let's get growing. Roses are one of those garden favorites that just sparkle when you give them a little coffee boost. They thrive in slightly acidic soil, which coffee grounds naturally provide, so sprinkling a thin layer around the base of your rose bushes can help enhance their vibrant blooms and encourage stronger growth. Mix the grounds into the top layer of soil for a gentle nutrient infusion. Avoid piling them too thickly or letting them touch the stems directly to prevent any irritation. Combine coffee grounds with compost or mulch for an extra dose of organic matter that improves soil structure and moisture retention. Morning is the best time to apply, so the sun warms the grounds and releases nutrients. Gradually, you can even lightly water after applying to help the nutrients seep in. And over time, you'll notice your roses have richer color, bigger buds, and a subtle boost in fragrance that makes your garden feel alive and thriving. Blueberries absolutely thrive with coffee grounds because they love acidic soil, and a light sprinkle around the base of each plant can help boost soil acidity and give their roots a gentle nutrient kick. Mix the grounds into the top inch of soil rather than leaving them on the surface to avoid clumping. Pair them with mulch or compost to balance nutrients and retain moisture. Apply in the early spring or just after harvesting for the best impact. Water lightly afterward so the grounds start breaking down and feeding the plant gradually. Avoid overdoing it since too much acidity can stress the plant, and with consistent use, you'll notice glossier leaves, plumper berries, and healthier, more vigorous bushes that make every harvest sweeter and more abundant. Azaleas are classic acid-loving shrubs that respond beautifully to coffee grounds. Lightly sprinkle the grounds around the base to enrich the soil, without letting them touch the stems directly. Gently work them into the top layer of soil to improve drainage and aeration, while slowly releasing nutrients. Pair with mulch or compost to maintain moisture and prevent the grounds from compacting. Apply in early spring as new growth begins, or in fall to prepare the plant for winter. Water after applying so the grounds start breaking down and feeding the roots. Avoid over-applying since too much acidity can stress the plant, and over time you'll see brighter blooms, stronger stems, and lush green foliage that really makes your garden pop. Carrots are root vegetables that can benefit from the nutrients in coffee grounds. When used carefully, sprinkle a thin layer of grounds into the soil before planting, or lightly mix into the topsoil to avoid creating a dense layer that blocks water. Make sure the soil remains loose and well-draining so the roots can grow straight and strong. Combine with compost to balance nitrogen levels and prevent over-acidity. Apply in early spring or during the growing season as needed. Water lightly after mixing in the ground so nutrients start working their way down to the roots. Avoid heavy applications that could stunt growth or cause bitterness. And, with proper use, you'll notice healthier, more flavorful carrots with vibrant orange color and consistent growth throughout the season. Radishes are quick-growing, nutrient-loving root veggies that respond well to coffee grounds when used sparingly. Lightly mix a small amount into the top layer of soil before sowing seeds, to give them a gentle boost without overwhelming the roots. Keep the soil loose and well-draining, so the radishes can expand properly. Pairing grounds with compost helps balance nutrients and adds organic matter for better moisture retention. Apply early in the season or during growth for a steady supply of nitrogen. Water gently after mixing in to help nutrients reach the roots gradually. Avoid thick layers that can create acidity, stress, and when done right, you'll get crisp, flavorful radishes with uniform size and a peppery bite that makes your salads pop. Rhododendrons thrive in acidic soil, making coffee grounds a perfect natural supplement. Lightly sprinkle or work a thin layer of grounds into the topsoil around the base without letting them touch the stems directly. Mix with compost or mulch to improve soil structure, retain moisture, and slowly release nutrients. Apply in early spring as new growth starts, or in fall to prepare for dormancy. Water after application so the nutrients start penetrating the roots gradually. Avoid over-application to prevent excessive acidity that can stress the plant. And over time, you'll see richer green foliage, stronger stems, and stunning clusters of blooms that make your garden feel vibrant and alive. Hydrangeas are famous for their color-changing blooms and respond beautifully to coffee grounds because they love slightly acidic soil. Sprinkle a light layer around the base and gently work it into the topsoil without touching the stems to avoid burning. Mix with compost or mulch to improve moisture retention and slowly release nutrients. Apply in early spring when new growth begins, or during the blooming season for best results. Water lightly after adding the ground so the nutrients start seeping down to the roots. Avoid heavy layers that can alter soil pH too drastically, and over time you'll notice bigger, more vibrant flowers, healthier leaves, and a bush that seems to glow with color throughout the season. Cabbage, being a leafy green, can benefit from the mild acidity and nutrients in coffee grounds. Lightly sprinkle a thin layer around the base and gently work it into the topsoil to enrich it without overwhelming the plant. Combine with compost to balance nitrogen and improve soil structure while retaining moisture. Apply early in the growing season or when the heads are starting to form. Water lightly afterward so nutrients seep down to the roots gradually. Avoid thick layers that could create acidity, stress, or inhibit growth. And with careful use, you'll see larger, healthier heads, vibrant green leaves, and a stronger, more resilient plant ready for a bountiful harvest. Lilies are stunning flowering plants that respond well to coffee grounds because they prefer slightly acidic, nutrient-rich soil. Sprinkle a light layer around the base and gently work it into the top inch of soil without letting it touch the stems or bulbs directly. Combine with compost or mulch to retain moisture and slowly release nutrients. Apply in early spring as growth begins or during the flowering season for an added boost. Water lightly after application so nutrients start penetrating the roots gradually. Avoid heavy or direct applications that can burn the bulbs. And over time, you'll notice taller stems, bigger blooms, and richer colors that make your garden feel lively and full of fragrance. Hollies are classic evergreen shrubs that thrive in acidic soil, making coffee grounds a natural booster. Lightly sprinkle a thin layer around the base and gently work it into the topsoil without letting it touch the stems. Mix with compost or mulch to improve soil structure, retain moisture, and slowly release nutrients. Apply in early spring as new growth begins, or in fall to prepare for winter. Water lightly after application, so the nutrients seep down to the roots gradually. Avoid heavy applications that can stress the plant, and with consistent use, you'll see glossy green leaves, stronger branches, and vibrant berries that really make your garden pop. African violets are small, charming houseplants that absolutely thrive with the gentle nutrients from coffee grounds. Sprinkle a tiny pinch on top of the soil or mix lightly into the top layer to avoid overwhelming their delicate roots. Pair with well-draining potting mix to keep the soil airy and prevent compaction. Apply every few weeks during the growing season for a subtle nutrient boost without over-acidifying the soil. Water lightly after application so the nutrients start reaching the roots gradually. Avoid direct contact with leaves to prevent spotting or burning. Place them in bright, indirect light to encourage vibrant blooms and healthy foliage. And over time, you'll notice richer green leaves, more frequent flowering, and a plant that seems to glow with life, making any indoor space feel lively and inviting. Strawberries are one of the sweetest garden treats, and they really appreciate the mild acidity and nutrients coffee grounds provide. Sprinkle a light layer around the base of each plant and gently work it into the topsoil so the roots get the benefit without smothering them. Pair the grounds with compost or mulch to create a balanced mix that improves soil structure and retains moisture. Apply in early spring as the plants wake up or again during fruiting season for an extra push toward bigger harvests. Water lightly afterward so nutrients soak in and begin breaking down naturally. Avoid creating thick layers that can block airflow or trap too much moisture. Keep the soil loose and well-draining so roots grow freely and berries develop evenly. Monitor your plants to make sure the acidity isn't getting too strong, and adjust the amount of grounds as needed, and with steady care, you'll be rewarded with glossy green leaves, strong runners, and plump strawberries that taste as fresh and sweet as summer itself. Gardenias are prized for their glossy leaves and intoxicatingly fragrant blooms, and coffee grounds are a natural fit because these shrubs thrive in acidic soil. Sprinkle a light layer around the base and gently work it into the topsoil so it enriches without overwhelming the roots. Mix the grounds with compost or mulch to balance nutrients and maintain consistent moisture. Apply in spring as new growth starts, or midsummer to support flowering. Water lightly after each application so the nutrients gradually seep into the soil. Avoid piling the grounds directly against the stems, which could cause rot. Keep the soil loose and well-draining to prevent soggy roots. Monitor your plant's leaves for any signs of yellowing that may signal too much acidity, and with consistent, balanced care, your gardenias will reward you with lush green foliage and blossoms that fill your garden with sweet, unforgettable fragrance. Basil, the king of herbs in the kitchen garden, can enjoy the benefits of coffee grounds when used with care. Sprinkle a very thin layer around the base and gently mix it into the topsoil to provide a mild nutrient boost. Pair the grounds with compost to balance nitrogen and avoid over-acidifying the soil. Apply during the growing season when basil is producing lots of fresh leaves. Water lightly after applying so the nutrients start filtering down to the roots. Avoid heavy layers that can make the soil too compact or damp. Keep basil in well-draining soil with plenty of sunlight for strong growth. Monitor the leaves to ensure they stay vibrant green and not yellow from nutrient imbalance. And with steady care, you'll harvest fuller, more aromatic leaves perfect for sauces, salads, and every fresh dish that calls for a punch of flavor. Hostas, those shade-loving perennials with their lush green leaves, respond well to the gentle acidity and nutrients from coffee grounds. Sprinkle a light layer around the base and work it into the topsoil to help feed the roots. Without smothering them, combine the grounds with compost or mulch to balance nutrients and improve soil moisture retention. Apply in early spring when new shoots emerge, or during the growing season to keep foliage strong. Water lightly afterwards so the nutrients begin breaking down and moving into the soil. Avoid piling grounds directly against the crown to prevent rot. Keep the soil loose and well-draining so roots spread easily. Monitor for slugs since coffee grounds can even help deter them naturally. And with regular care, you'll enjoy hostas that grow fuller, healthier, and more vibrant, turning shady corners of your garden into lush green highlights. Evergreen trees, whether tall pines or smaller ornamental varieties, can benefit from the acidity and organic matter in coffee grounds when used properly. Sprinkle a light circle of grounds around the drip line rather than right at the trunk to feed the outer roots where most nutrients are absorbed. Gently work the grounds into the soil surface to keep them from clumping and forming a crust. Mix with mulch or compost to balance nutrients and improve water retention. Apply in early spring to support fresh seasonal growth, or in fall to strengthen the tree before winter. Water after application so the nutrients filter naturally into the soil. Avoid dumping heavy piles of grounds that could compact the soil or throw off pH. Keep the area around the trunk clear to prevent rot or pest issues. And with consistent, moderate use, you'll notice stronger needles, healthier branches, and an evergreen that stays vibrant and resilient year-round. Hibiscus plants, known for their bold tropical blooms, enjoy the nutrient boost and mild acidity that coffee grounds bring. Sprinkle a thin layer around the base and gently work it into the topsoil to enrich without smothering the roots. Mix the grounds with compost or mulch to balance nitrogen and help retain consistent moisture. Apply in spring as the plant begins active growth, or during the blooming season to encourage bigger, brighter flowers. Water lightly afterward, so the nutrients seep gradually into the soil. Avoid piling grounds too close to the stems to prevent rot. Keep the soil well draining and place the hibiscus in plenty of sunlight for best results. Monitor the leaves for signs of yellowing, which can mean too much acidity. And with steady, balanced care, you'll enjoy lush green foliage and show-stopping blooms that make your garden feel like a tropical getaway. Camellias, with their glossy leaves and elegant blooms, are classic acid-loving plants that respond beautifully to coffee grounds. Sprinkle a light layer around the base and gently work it into the soil without touching the stems. Mix the grounds with compost or mulch to balance nutrients and keep moisture levels steady. Apply in early spring as buds begin to form or after flowering to help restore energy. Water lightly afterward so the nutrients filter into the root zone. Avoid heavy applications that can create too much acidity or compact the soil. Keep the soil loose and well draining to protect against root rot. Monitor the foliage for deep green color as a sign of balanced feeding. And with consistent care, your camellias will reward you with fuller growth and blossoms that shine bright through the cooler months. Peppers, whether sweet or spicy, can benefit from the nitrogen and organic matter in coffee grounds when used in moderation. Sprinkle a thin layer around the base of each plant and lightly work it into the topsoil to feed the roots without blocking airflow. Mix the grounds with compost to balance nutrients and prevent the soil from becoming too acidic. Apply during the active growing and fruiting season for the best boost in leaf and fruit production. Water gently after application so nutrients filter down gradually. Avoid piling the grounds too thick, which can cause compaction or excess moisture. Keep the soil well draining and give peppers plenty of sunlight for strong growth. Monitor the plants to ensure the leaves stay vibrant green and not overly dark from excess nitrogen. And with steady care, you'll enjoy sturdier plants and bigger harvests, full of flavorful peppers all season long. Parsley, a hardy and versatile herb, can soak up the benefits of coffee grounds when used carefully. Sprinkle a light dusting around the base and gently mix it into the topsoil to provide a mild nutrient boost. Pair the grounds with compost to balance nitrogen and prevent the soil from turning overly acidic. Apply during the growing season when parsley is producing fresh leaves for harvest. Water lightly after applying so nutrients start seeping down to the roots. Avoid heavy layers that can compact the soil or block airflow. Keep parsley in loose, well-draining soil with plenty of sunlight for steady growth. Monitor the leaves to make sure they stay bright green and not yellowing from imbalance. And with consistent, moderate use, you'll get fuller, more flavorful harvests, perfect for seasoning dishes or garnishing meals straight from the garden. And there you have it, 20 plants that absolutely love a little coffee in their soil. So instead of tossing those grounds, put them to work in your garden. Your plants will thank you with brighter blooms, richer leaves, and tastier harvests. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more simple gardening tips that make a big difference.